Good afternoon and welcome back to another episode of Texan Entertainment News. I'm your host, Jack Cochran, and today we'll bring you the best in movie, television, and music news, as well as a review of one of the highest rated films in theaters right now. So, let's get started. Things were almost looking alright in the Guardians of the Galaxy sequel. It's no secret that Marvel Studios has been casting for this movie since the first film was released, and October 28th finally brought us some news with their progress. Well, sorta. Variety reports that Oscar-winning actor Matthew McConaughey was offered the role of the lead villain for Guardians 2, but denied it. There was no reason given, but this made it clear that Marvel is looking for well-known, high-profile performers for this film. Very little is known about the movie's plot, except that it's described as a story about fathers. We'll have more on this as information is released. Okay, so we reported on Pacific Rim 2 once already, discussing its halt. Apparently the film is still going. Director Guillermo del Toro has tweeted that the budget and script have been submitted, and now they're just awaiting green light. This film has been through the works when it comes to development updates, such as indefinite holds in production and official delays, but now it looks like there's reason to have hope. Fans of one of del Toro's other works have reason to hope for this movie's success as well. The director said that he could only make Hellboy 3, the conclusion to that trilogy, if Pacific Rim 2 was a success. Alright, that's all I've got for you today. Justin Pack has told me he had something special for everyone today, so let's see what's up with that.
Thanks, Jack. The Martian, starring Matt Damon, is a film by Ridley Scott, a director best known for his sci-fi films Alien and Blade Runner. The film is based on a book of the same title as the film, from the author Andy Weir. Weir, who is the son of a particle physicist's father and an electrical engineering mother, worked as a computer programmer for AOL, Palm, and Blizzard. I tell you all this because this book, and subsequently the movie, are all very much about the science. I think that the best way to sum up this film in one sentence would be to call it Apollo 13 fan fiction. It's obviously that Weir and Scott care quite a bit about the details, which can be seen in the film from the amount of time that it spends on things like orbital mechanics and atmospheric conditions on Mars. It's interesting to compare the Martian's approach to Hollywood science to the other major space blockbuster that Matt Damon was in, Interstellar. That film started out pretty heavy on the science, but deteriorated into a love conquers all story in the third act. In comparison, the Matt Damon character at one point in The Martian states,
I'm left with only one option. I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
The general overview of the film is this. On a manned mission to Mars, a storm hits the astronaut station there, and they quickly have to leave the planet. The Matt Damon character, Mart Watney, is lost in the storm and is presumed dead, so his fellow astronauts leave him there. Watney then has to figure out how to reestablish contact with Earth and survive on limited supplies until help can be sent. Visually, the film is sound, however, not much stood out to me in the cinematography, with the exception of the use of some first-person GoPro-like footage mixed throughout the film. There's a good mix of digital effects with practical sets and actors throughout the movie, and that is to say the digital elements were not overall distracting to the film. Two elements that did stand out to me, though, were the use of some anti-gravity effects used later in the film, which were obviously done with wires. 1995's Apollo 13, they shot using jets flying in parabolic arcs to simulate zero gravity to get around that wires business, but I guess that was too much to ask to reproduce in such short scenes in this one movie. So, another jarring choice was the use of a body double for some scenes for the Damon character. As his isolation wears on, he's supposed to lose weight as he rations his supplies, but an emaciated body double was used to show the audience this. However, it's painfully obvious that they won't show the character's face in these shots. When the camera does cut back to Watney's face, he's got too much chub in his cheeks. It's obvious Damon did not lose the weight, just a small nitpick. Damon's performance overall was good, though, especially when you take into account that he's alone for most of the narrative, having no other actors there to give you an emotional frame of reference. It's difficult to do this, but his performance, mixed with some good editing and pacing, it really works. It reminds me somewhat of Tom Hanks' performance in the film Castaway. This film has an underlying tension all throughout the narrative, and it pretty firmly establishes early on that anything can and will go wrong in space. Small victories are often followed by disastrous setbacks, and you never know when something will either literally or figuratively blow up. This tension is engaging, and the film had my full attention 99% of the time, which is what I look for in a good movie, which The Martian is. It's Apollo 13 mixed with some Castaway, dipped in some Interstellar. So if you like engaging storytelling, can tolerate some science, and Matt Damon, I highly recommend The Martian. Ground control to Major Jack. Mars is no place to raise your kids. Back to you. Over.
Thanks, Justin. Amy Nash has the best in music news for us this week, so let's see what she's jamming to.
Thanks, Jack. This weekend, the MTV European Music Awards was hosted by Ed Sheeran with co-host Ruby Rose in Milan, Italy. The night's top honors went to Justin Bieber, taking home 5 awards from 6 nominations, including Best Male Performer, Best Collaboration, and Best Look. After winning the Best Look award, Bieber was at a loss for words and accepted the award, saying, "Wow, I don't know what to say. I got these looks from my mama," which by the looks of it is probably who dressed him for the occasion as well. Other winners include Taylor Swift for Best Song, Rihanna for Best Female Performer, Nicki Minaj for Best Hip Hop, One Direction for Best Pop Group, and Macklemore and Ryan Lewis for Best Video. You can finally say hello to Adele's new song if you haven't already. The 27-year-old British singer-songwriter released her first single in 3 years off her upcoming album 25 on Friday, October 23rd. And since its release has been the #1 single in over 85 countries. The release has also received over 65 million views on YouTube and another 8 million on Spotify. Now, like most Adele songs, as we all know, I did find myself thinking that this song was going to be about another heartbreak and could continue its repetitive pattern throughout the song. All I have to say is, wow. This one takes the cake as being one of the best Adele songs to date. It's catchy, but also very both practical and impractical at the same time. The chorus took me by surprise in a good way, and I would suggest that even if you've never been a fan of her before, you might want to give that a second thought. I will give this single a 4 out of 5 stars, and I can definitely see myself ordering this album once it's released next month. That's all I have this week in music. What else is going on, Jack?
All right, thanks, Amy. That's all we've got for this week. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week.